dishwashers. We used to have to wash them by hand. Some people still do, but now that the task is somewhat fully automated now, except for we have to load the dishwashers and push the button, load the soap and all that. So you can imagine perhaps some sort of robot that loads the dishwasher for us and pushes the button and loads the soap. Or take it further to a robot that, as it's picking up the plates to clear the table, it somehow washes them with some sort of technology on its hands, or it has a dishwasher built into it. So something like that, which then makes the production of dishwashers obsolete, making the production of dishwashers obsolete, it lessens the requirement for the resources, the metals, the plastics, and whatever else the glass that goes into the creating dishwashers. So we have this device, this robot that subsumes all these things and makes all these things into one. So you're producing a lot less. It's better for the environment in that way. And the shipment aspect of it, you don't have to have all these. If one company starts making these and everyone starts buying these, then that company is going to succeed making the other products obsolete. Who wants to vacuum or wash dishes or do all these things whenever you have one device that does these things for you? This robot can now vacuum, do your dishes, dust, organize, mop the floor, who knows what. So would such an automated future, something like Star Trek, would that be considered communism? I've heard it referred to as space communism. Would it be socialism? I don't think so, because those things, socialism and communism, require human labor. So if we completely removed human labor, it would do away with the need for a currency, and it would do away with the burden of doing the toilsome work. And all that. So it can't be considered communism or socialism, although it may have some similar aspects that are like that. But it also retains similarities to capitalism as well. It's just a whole new thing, but the challenge is we have to get past this view that such a future is socialism or communism. The shame associated with making things easier. This occurred to me recently. We actually aspire to be lazy. We say things like work smarter, not harder, and be more efficient, and things like that. We also look up to people who have risen above, and they manage to find more freedom. They have managed to escape the rat race. They are above all of that. Now they can live a life of luxury. Very rich people that seem to be on an endless vacation and do very little work, if any at all. So we look up to these people. They are the goalpost for many of us. We would love to be in their position. And we also say things like, I'd rather be fishing. You might see someone, especially a person that is completely opposed to automation, wearing a shirt or have a bumper sticker that says, "I'd rather be fishing," ironically. And now with automation, they might have that chance if we implemented something like universal basic income, where basically we're getting money. This is actually kind of socialistic. We're getting money for not doing work, but I believe we should try to move past universal basic income. Just move completely. I don't think it's necessary, because if everything is automated, if we ever get there, um, currency would be redundant. We could just walk into a store, if it's still even called a store, walk in, get what you need, uh, the necessity facilities, um, get what you need, get out. And there could be some sort of regulations on, you can take an extra amount, you can take more than you need, but you can't, it gets to a certain point where you can't exceed this much. Um, Perhaps because the census keeps track of how many people there are, and they know that you actually don't need this much food, and so you reach a limit. So how would this affect crime rates, and everything? Well, the necessity facilities where you go to get what you need would do away with theft of necessities. Um, but how would it affect uh, the theft of things like coveted things, like an original piece of art or something like that? Well, eventually, uh, reproductions might be so good that any piece of art can be reproduced, so that that person coveting it can actually have it. Crimes like SX assault might lower, because dating apps could be much more efficient and actually work, because money would no longer play a part, and so the dating apps wouldn't require uh, profit, and so it wouldn't be profit driven, and so there would be no incentive for the dating apps to keep you on the dating apps like they do now. Um, so people would be, uh, you could use AI to help people meet people much faster, and so relationships would blossom. There would be much higher success rates for finding a partner. Another thing is the economy uh, puts a lot of pressure on people and causes a lot of mental health issues. It actually can be behind why people develop mental health issues, which then makes that person less appealing to any potential partners. They might look at this person and say, I don't want to be with that person, because you can tell they're. So if we can do away with that, then you're going to have much more appealing people and more relationships, which would lead to lower instances of assault. So there would be a lot of crimes that would go down, but there would still be crimes, because we can't achieve utopia. There's always going to be problems, and this is something we have to keep in mind, is that utopia cannot be achieved. And once you believe that, once you make that the goal, you've already failed. So we have to keep in mind that murders will still happen, terrible things will still happen, people are still going to suffer and die. There will still be people that die of starvation, but who knows? Maybe eventually things like starvation will be completely solved, and so on. Like people still get attacked by animals and killed by animals, but for the most part, that's no longer a regular occurrence. Would a fully automated society be stupid and lazy? Would we be dumber? Um, no, because we could then focus more on education. We could devote more of our time to educating ourselves. Um, and I don't think we'd necessarily be lazier because then we could spend time without the worry of money. You could go do things. You could, if you feel like spending a day rock climbing, you can go do that, or travel more and go on longer hikes. Hiking and camping and skiing, and there's just so many things you could do with your time because you wouldn't have to worry about money or, oh, I got to go to work tomorrow, things like that. So there would be a lot of movement all over the globe or in a single country. No, without restraints, I feel like people would be doing a lot more. And I think the way things are set up now, financial issues, like I said, they're behind a lot of mental illness, especially depression. And so that depression can lead to people being lazy, just sitting around eating a lot. And so this can be what's behind the obesity epidemic here in America and other places. So no, I do not think people would be lazy. I would actually, as an artist, I'd be much more productive. I wouldn't have to worry about spending my day at work, and usually while I'm at work, I'm thinking about projects that I could be doing, and I would spend more time working out, go hiking more, which is exercise. And I'm sure you can think of a lot of things. You'd rather be fishing, perhaps. We need to see that money wasn't the point of civilization. Money wasn't the ends we were trying to get to whenever we first started using tools. The purpose of tools was to work smarter, not harder, to make life easier, to use less calories. And money is merely a gear in the machine. It's just one part of the machine that helps it run. And the machine itself is about getting to things that we need or want. So the mantra should be work smarter, not harder. Make things more efficient, expend less calories, just to get to an ends that we desire rather than walking in circles. And pretty much everything is already automated. Like I said, dishwashers, hammers, all these tools, escalators, elevators, ovens instead of making fires to cook things. We have running water. There's just so many things like typewriters, all these technologies that have made everything easier. We don't have to paint with our hands, although we can. We use paint brushes. All these tools are seeds of the beginning of that will lead to an automated process. And then there's things we don't want automated, like I mentioned, paintbrushes, painting. If we automate everything, we will have the free time to create art. And I personally would just give the art away if I didn't require money. If I like someone, I'm just gonna give them a piece of art. You can have art shows and whatnot. If somebody really likes it, you give it to them. And a bunch of people like it, and we'll eventually have the technology to reproduce things in a way that you won't really be able to tell the difference. So you might be concerned, what if something causes all of our electricity go out and we're completely reliant on all this technology, and for some reason it all gets destroyed, we can't use any of it. Well, in the meantime, while we do have uh, an automated world, we could, perhaps we should, like we currently make schooling mandatory, maybe that should be one of their priorities. Learning how to survive without technology, learning things like how to start a fire, how to find food, how to hunt, things like that. Like, so we could get along without, we could all be top-notch survivors, but it's not necessary. The backup plan. So how do we get there? How do we transition from where we are now to where we want to be? Um, for starters, I think we should start creating more art that inspires people to desire such a future. Um, like TV shows, movies, music, uh, whatever else. Um, to transition, I think if a certain job has been completely automated, those who are laid off from those jobs can go help the people that are still working the jobs that have not yet been automated. Like if there's something like restaurants, for example, hypothetically, if they're not automated, then the people that were doing that job can come over and help with that, and you'll have a surplus of people doing these things. We'll just have to keep making these shifts until everything is automated. It will eventually come down to a point where, you know, there will be certain jobs that just they may never be able to be automated. I can't think of any, honestly. I don't see why anything would be able to be automated. Even the machines could take care of themselves. You could have one machine that you know, takes care of the oiling of other machines, so on and so forth, or the machine could oil itself or whatever, fix itself if it's broken, self-maintenance, or other machines doing the maintenance. There will have to be a massive worldview shift. People will have to stop feeling guilty about, you know, having an easy life, basically, and others will just basically have to accept that this transition needs to take place, and it's going to take place. It's going to happen. We shouldn't put up too much of a fight and make things more difficult along the way, because this is human nature to make things easier, work smarter, not harder, to advance. It's going to happen, and the more we resist it, the more problems we'll have. And certain people, sure, you can be Luddites. You can go, you know, like the Amish. You can have those communities if you desire to continue doing things the old way. You know, it's a choice, but it's not a requirement. You're not being forced to do these jobs. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any rebuttals or comments, whatever.